Hey guys, welcome back to the Thrifty Christian YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about leveling up. This is taking it to the next level for the beginner all the way up to the anchor store level. Stay with me. Here we go. When I first started selling on eBay, I noticed that it was very hard to get to the next level. What I mean by that is basically, we all start out selling a few items just to test it, to see how it goes. At least that's how I did it. And then we gradually move up to, listing 50 items. Then we realize quickly thereafter that the amount that the fees cost to list over a certain amount of items without getting into a subscription, a store subscription, becomes quite expensive. And we learn rather quickly that we should just go ahead and open up a store subscription. So that's pretty much what I did. And not knowing where this was heading, what I ended up doing was I opened 2 stores. Because as you know, a premium subscription with a yearly agreement, a contract, is $60 per month. And the anchor store is, with a yearly agreement, is $300 a month. So leveling up to the point where you can actually afford an anchor store takes quite a bit of time. Now what you see behind me is, of course, the bins, and this is my garage, by the way. The bins and how I've got them set up. All clothing items, got shoes on these racks here. And as you can see, as far back over into that corner, I'll just swing you around here real quick so you can see. All right, now I'm facing the garage door, and you can see over to the right there's bins down to the ground, and I've pretty much got them just stacked on top of these shelves that I built. I made a video on how to make these shelves, pretty simple measurements and all that good stuff. So I wanted to talk really quickly about how I got to this point and how it became so difficult to kind of get up to the next level. And I want to really try to break this down for the beginners who plan on getting into this. And I want to start by saying, number one, if you're going to get to this level where you've got 4,000 to 5,000 items, okay, and you're trying to maintain that level, the first thing you're going to need is space. If you don't have space to store a bunch of items like this, then it's going to hurt you a little bit. It's going to be hard. It's going to be really difficult for you to move around. Fortunately, I have a fairly decent sized home. I have an office. I have 4 bedrooms. One of them's the office. One of them is the photo room. And all the closets are slap full of clothing. You can even see, like right here, I've got just a rack here with coats and jackets on it. I've got a rack right here, coats and jackets on it. I normally keep this covered as I do that. I keep it covered up. So you're going to need space, number one, right? All right. Number 2, when you're dealing with leveling up, okay, you're going to have to consider, how are you going to do that without incurring the cost of a full-blown anchor store? Because you've got to figure out first, how am I going to get this stuff listed fast enough? How am I going to source it first? Then how am I going to get it photographed? Then how am I going to get it listed? And then how am I going to store it? There comes these processes, and you've got to learn how to, create these processes and make these processes work for you. So for me, it took a while. It took a while for me to figure out how to do it. But at this point right now, I've got 2 VAs that help, and they do all the listing for me. Yeah, I know you're going to say, how are you getting your VAs to do the listing for you? And I want to share that with you guys, but I'll probably do that in another video. It was really right in front of my face the whole time. I never really even realized that I could do it this way, and to kind of like free up myself to be able to go source. So now, since I've created this process, I'm able to just simply photograph 50 items a day. If I want to, I can do 25 or I can do 50. And I simply just text those titles over to my VAs. I have created listing templates in eBay, and my VAs, they cross list on 3 platforms at the same time. They list on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari, all at one fell swoop. Okay, so I basically pay them about $1 to list on 3 platforms. So if I'm having them list 50 items a day, that's $50 for them. They earn $1, and it's for one item, not per platform. It's one item, $1 to list on 3 platforms. You guys want to know how I do this? Like I said, I'm going to put it in another video. I'll just make it really simple for you. It's a no-brainer. It's just simply finding the VAs, which sometimes we got to pay for that service. We got to pay to find out how, because I had to pay to find out how to find a VA. And once I got a good VA, then I was really satisfied with them. Then I started creating more initiative for them. And they're happy to do anything that you want, speak really good English. They're from the Philippines, and they'll bend over backwards for you. They'll stay faithful. But again, you just got to find the right ones. I mean, it's going to take you some work. So, leveling up, let's get back to the topic here. All right, so I subscribe to a premium store, okay? That is 1,000 listings. That's just basic listings, not auctions. You get 500 auctions. If you, in case you don't know, just go back and look at some of the, type in eBay store subscriptions, and it'll point you right in the right direction. So don't quote me on everything I say. But for the most part, I know that you get 1,000 fixed price listings, and then you get 500 auctions. So, but I focus just on the fixed price listings because, as you guys know, in some of my previous videos, I've tinkered with doing good till canceled, and then I realized that there was huge dips when I'd left my items in the good till canceled listing form for too long, and my sales took a real big hit. So I don't do good till canceled anymore. I do 30-day, and then I do sell similars right after that, just to keep the item fresh, get a fresh number, get a fresh placement, and all that good stuff. So anyway, 1,000 items is what I started out with. I filled 1,000 items into a store rather quickly. So I opened a second store. That's 2,000 items. And then my wife wanted a store. So she got 1,000 items. Then she wanted another store. So we got 4 stores now, which please don't do that. Please don't do that, because it's very, very, very aggravating trying to move in between multiple stores and checking to see if items have sold. And then, you have to set up some crazy thing on your phone so that way you can make sure that you don't miss any messages and things like that, or sales. So my best recommendation, here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's what happened. Let me just start there. Here's what happens. When you get a premium store subscription and you start to reach that 1,000 listings, or you've got 1,000 listings, eBay sends out this automated message that will offer you 500 free auction style or fixed price listings. They've been giving me 500 free for the last 5 or 6 months. And I have just been continuously using those to list additional items into my store. So let's just say I was at a cap of 1,000. Then around the 20th, I think, around the 20th, they'll send out a message saying, hey, we're going to give you 500 free listings. And I'm like, hey, that's awesome, right? So what I did was basically just use those 500 free listings and relisted all the ones that had ended. Anything over 1,000, right? Pretty easy to understand. So now what I'm doing is I'm completely ending one of the other stores, and I'm having my VA cross list everything from this store over to the other eBay store. Which, by the way, the one eBay store that I've ended, I've done that, just did it yesterday, fell below seller standards because I just had too many issues with people trying to, return something and claim that there were, damage that wasn't there. And it's just fraudulent stuff that they were trying to commit. And at the time, I just didn't know how to handle it. I'm just trying to be honest. I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know the proper way. And I was losing. I was losing every battle. And then I finally started doing some homework and I started learning how to win. But at that point in time, it was too late. My store had already gone down the hill. Now, once your store falls below seller, top rated seller status, man, it's tough. I barely had any sales going through that store. It was getting no exposure. You had to really fight to get some feedback in to offset that ratio of good to bad. And anyway, so I just decided, you know what? I'm going to keep throwing items into. Yeah, I just kept throwing items into that other store. And my plan is to basically, at, I guess, maybe 4,000 listings, which is not hard. I'm almost there in that. I've got 4,000 listings that I just rotate. I rotate them around, you know what I mean? And they stay off the grid for quite a while, you know what I mean? Like 2 months. There's items that stay off for 2 months. And then I just kind of like cycle them back through. So, well, actually not 2 months, probably about a month, because I'm right at 3,000. I'll be right at 3,000 listings by the time this store is finished cross-listing over. So anyway, I'm just rotating everything around, and I'm just using those extra 500 listings. Now, I've also gotten this message from eBay where they want to offer me the Anchor store free for 2 months, okay? So free Anchor store for 2 months, and I look at it like this. Okay, I've already figured out how to use my VAs to go and list large quantities, like 50 items or more a day, if I could source that much, of course, and of course if I could photograph it and then shoot them the titles. So I figured out that easily I can do 200. I could get 250 listings completed in a week, minus of course the items that sell. And it wouldn't take me long to be able to afford a Anchor store subscription price, which is $300 a month. So by having 4 stores, 4 times $60, $240, you can see that I'm like right there. I'll be right there at that. And with an Anchor store, I'll just have to make a choice. I'll just have to make a choice whether I want to get a storage space, and move everything out of my garage and bring my vehicles back inside out of the weather, which would be nice. My wife would love me for that, but it kind of would free me up. So, I know this video is not going to pertain to everybody out there because the majority, I believe, and I could be wrong, but the majority of the sellers out there on eBay, their goals aren't to have an Anchor store. You know what I mean? I think that the majority are pretty quite content with a few hundred items. That's just my belief. Everyone that I've met, they don't have the quantity like I do or the ambition that I do to be able to get up a multitude of listings and to be able to. My goal is to try to create $10,000 a month. That's my goal. I'm not there yet. I've still got a ways to go. But I do know this. I do know that the only way you're going to get there, you can source all day long, right? And you can, go out and find the best items. But the reality is that you've got to have a large quantity, a large volume in order to be able to turn that much over every month. And you also need to be selling on multiple platforms. So I hope that You guys can get something out of this. I hope that you guys can maybe give me some feedback, and if some of you guys are wanting or aspiring to grow a larger volume store, and just doing clothing, pre-owned clothing, message me down below and let me know what you think. I know it's kind of, like I said, this video is not going to be for everybody, but I just want to put it out there for the beginner, so that way the beginner knows exactly what's being done by other people. Because as a beginner myself, when I first started, I didn't really know that I was going in this direction. I didn't know that it was going to take this much space. And I've got another garage out back that I plan on filling up as well once I get this one completely full. So I didn't realize it was going to take up this much space. I didn't know I was going to go this far, and I'm still reaching in other areas. Guys, some of you guys know I'm doing some drop shipping, and I've tested that. Hit and miss with drop shipping. It's kind of shady. There's certain things that I don't like about it, and I'll get into that in another video. But guys, I hope that this at least will give some guys out there some insight as to what 4,000 items plus looks like. And if you plan on going down this road, I hope some of the tips and strategies that I'm giving you now will help you reach your goals. Guys, God bless each and every one of you on this Thanksgiving Day, and I will see you in the next one. Thrifty Christian, I'm out.